future, John Hammond. John Hammond is a person of great experience, character, intelligence, and not least of all, John Hammond is a person who is always of a steady demeanor, pleasant, easy to work with. He has all the characteristics that I look for in a successful executive, regardless of the line of pursuit. In basketball, he's had success at every level. He's got a wealth of experience, as you all know, most recently as Vice President of Basketball Operations with that highly esteemed and successful organization, the Detroit Pistons. He is an integral part of all that they've accomplished in the last 7 years, which has been as much as any team in the NBA has accomplished. John Hammond has been at the center of it, working with Joe Dumars and others, but he deserves great credit for what's been done in Detroit. When you look for someone to head up your operation, you try and find somebody from a successful organization, and certainly from any point of view, John Hammond is that individual. So I believe our future is in good hands. We know, as I said on March 19th, we have to do better. We know we have to excite our fans, give them a sense of hope that the future is going to be bright. And, of course, the head of an operation is the face of an operation, and as much as anything else determines that level of optimism and hope. So I'm very pleased that John Hammond is with us. And at this time, I introduce John Hammond to you, our brand new head of basketball operations, John Hammond.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. I'd just like to say how happy I am to be here and pleased I am to be here. This is great. You know, this is not too far from home for me. I have people from Zion here, where I grew up. I have family here. I've got my wife and daughter here, and I'd like to introduce my daughter Lauren and my wife Marcia. And we're just a bunch of good old ZBs in this room is all we are, and thrilled to be here. And this is not going to be the easiest year for me personally because my daughter's a senior in high school. She's going to stay in Michigan, finish her senior year, and but I'm proud of her, and she's a good one.
Took her SAT this morning.
Yeah, so we're hoping for good results from that. I told the senator, I said I love the work that I do, and I feel like a guy that's really kind of never worked a day in my life. That I have a passion for what I do and an enjoyment in what I do. But I told him from the beginning that I love what I do, but I love those two.
Most of all.
Yep, a lot more. So, getting that out of the way. Just to say that for me, I want to say thanks to Senator Cole for this opportunity. It's been, it's great for me. This is something I was looking for, an opportunity I thought would be right for me. People say, well, what about this one? You've had other opportunities, and I have. I've had an opportunity maybe to make another move, but I think this was the right time, the right place for me, and I wanted to thank the senator for this opportunity. I think I also need to thank a few other people that were helpful in this process. Ron Walter, Mike Burr, John Steinmiller, those guys were all a part of the initial interview process, and they've been very supportive, and I just want to thank them for their support and their consideration throughout this time. So, here we go. We're going to get started, and a lot of people, I went to the Piston game last night, and people said, when do you start? I said, tomorrow. So, Joe, I sat with Joe at the suite last night and for a little bit of the Piston game, and he said, I was looking at our team, and I think we need this. He goes, what do you mean our team? He said, now, I got 2 teams now. So, we have work to do, but we think this is a great opportunity that we can get better and we can improve. If you ask me kind of a mission statement and thoughts as to, what I would like to see here someday in the very near future is a team that, when our fans walk on the floor or walk into the arena, they can look out on the floor and see a team that's going to have a chance every night to win. You know, I think if they can do that, I don't think they can ask for much more than that. But also what we like to do is that at the end of the night when they walk out, that they could say, you know what, that team played as hard as they possibly can, and we're proud of them for the effort they put forth. I think if we have a chance to, they can say this team is competitive, and if we play as hard as we can every night, I think the wins and losses will take care of themselves. So I know the fans, the Milwaukee fans, the Buck fans are good fans here. I know they want to win. What fan base does not want to win? But, you know, I was walking in with John Steinmiller an hour or so ago, and he said, you know, John, this is pretty amazing. We have almost a sellout tonight. And I think that speaks very highly of the Milwaukee Buck fans that, you know, what they've gone through this season, yet they're going to still support this team as they have. And, you know, my promise to them is very simple, that we're going to give it all. We'll try as hard as we possibly can, and we're going to put the best product on the floor that we can and make them proud. That's our goal.
With that, we'll open it up to questions. What was it specifically about this job? You mentioned that you had some previous opportunities. What was it about the Milwaukee job that said opened your eyes to?
Well, once again, I think not being too general, but kind of saying the same scenario: right time, right place for me. Also, I looked at this team and said, I think this team can win. I think that the personnel here, you know, another thing, we're gonna start from day one. We're gonna explore every possibility that we can to improve this roster. But I do think there are pieces that you have here intact now that we can win with. I also think that the man sitting next to me was a key factor in that. You know, I had a chance to sit down with Senator Cole a few times during this process, and I said to my wife the very first night, I said, you know, I think that, number one, I think he's a good man, and number two, I think he wants to win. That I feel those kind of things about, and you ask me, like, you know, why this one and not the other one, was because of, you know, particular factors like that.
Be it Larry Krystkowiak or another coach, what will the evaluation process for you be when it comes to who you decide to be leading this team on the floor next year?
Well, you know, we just, I think I've been on the job about an hour and a half right now, and you know, we'll continue to evaluate. You know, I don't want to play stupid and act like, you know, I'm going to start evaluating today. I know this team. This is the team that's in my division. We played against them. You know, my job is to watch NBA teams, so I'm very familiar with this Buck team. I know what's going on with this team, but you know, we're going to come up with more definitive answers like that postseason. You know, I'm not going to tie us down to a date. I'm not going to say we're going to do something on such and such date, but at a certain point we'll make that decision, and we'll live with it.
What qualities do you look for in a coach?
The kind of qualities Larry Krystkowiak has. I mean, we want a coach like Larry. We want. Hey, I just said you know, I think. Here's what I like to have people said about me someday when I'm no longer in this position. I'd like them to say, you know what, John Hammond worked really hard and he was a good man. Feel really good about that if that's what they're saying about me. Because I think at the end of the day, if they're saying that, something good's happened. And so, you know, for whether it be the coach, whether it be the players, that's what we're looking for. We want good people that are going to work real hard. If we have those kind of people, good things are going to happen. So I guarantee you, I know Larry. I know a lot of people that know Larry. There aren't better people than Larry Krystkowiak. I know that.
When you build a team, how do you get chemistry? How do you build chemistry on a team?
Well, you know, I don't think you can say, you know, here's the answer to that. I don't think there's one way that happens. You know, I think sometimes it's a process. And what you do is you put players on the floor and you see if they mesh. And certain guys are going to mesh a little better than others. And you know, if they don't mesh, you say this guy doesn't fit and we have to move on. And I think that's also what's you know, that's a little bit of maybe a coach issue at times, where, you know, the coach that's his responsibility, kind of bring the team together and say, hey, this is your responsibility, this is your role. It's a sales pitch. It's a sales pitch, and if he can sell the guys on what he believes and what can help us win and how it can help us win games, then they'll have chemistry and they'll have unity.